Warning. The conversations in this podcast are performed by the caveman. For your safety and the protection of those around you, please do not attempt to take anything you hear too seriously on the show.
Google, let's get it.
Bieber Weekend 2 of Coachella was wicked. What the fuck?
Bieber Weekend, yo.
Like the good wicked or like the bad
Young Thug, bro, was tight.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Cave Pod. I'll be your host tonight. Feel the burn. Here with the other caveman, Joreeezy, Mel, and Francis. What's cracking, fellas?
What's going
What up?
on?
Yo.
My good life, you know.
Another hump day.
Busy, crazy weekend. Yeah, it was Coachella. It was WrestleMania.
Yeah, playoffs starting around a couple leagues. Baseball is in full effect. I don't know if you guys have noticed if you're all out here in Cali, but there's a lot of hype getting ready for the World Cup out here. So a lot of the stores and restaurants and shit are putting out their FIFA World Cup merch. So getting kind of excited in this area for sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, before we get rolling and get to our main talking segment tonight about hardest sport to become champion in, we'll touch on that later. First, I want to plug our socials. Catch us out at the Cave K4V3 on all the socials, across social media, X, Facebook, all of it. And before we really dive into the main segment, let's do a little bit of small talk tonight. A little update around the sports world. Francis, you want to kick us off with that?
Yeah, I'll just touch on NBA real quick. First round of playoffs. Couple Lakers are surprising everybody without Luka and Austin Reeves. A couple upsets in some of the game twos. Portland Trailblazers beat the Spurs. Hawks came back from being down to beat the Knicks at home. That's always tough to get a W in Madison Square Garden. And yeah, pretty much everything else is chalk right now. The Thunder are rolling. Cavs are rolling against the Raptors. So nothing crazy, but it's getting a little exciting. So it's finally the best time to watch basketball where motherfuckers are trying and
yeah,
the referees are letting people play a little bit. You can see a little physicality, and they're not just calling every touch foul. So that's always fun to see.
it's great. It's how it should be.
Oh yeah.
Well, since we're talking about NBA real quick,
Yeah.
one, I saw that this might be the last year for this might be the last year that Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green are playing together. So I saw that little moment that they had when they before the game ended. That was pretty. I was conflicted because being a person who hated that dynasty and betting against them over and over and over again, I didn't know I would, kind of feel. I have sympathy watching that dynasty end. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm old as fuck.
Bruh.
Yeah.
But are the Lakers doing well?
They're doing all right. I mean, they're
All
up,
things considered, yeah.
yeah, all things considered. They're up 2-0 against the Rockets without Luka and Austin Reeves. But
When you
they're going back to
things,
Houston. So
when you
I
say
will
all
see.
things considered, why do you say all things considered?
because
Because they got a lot of adversity. Yeah, top two scorers on their team are out.
Interesting.
And it's the first time, I think I saw this stat, something about first time in NBA history that a team is, I think, won a playoff game without missing missing their top two scorers from the regular season.
Yeah. JJ Redick has been doing a great job of kind of getting everyone to play team defense. So yesterday, Kevin Durant couldn't get comfortable. They threw a double team at him every single time he touched the ball, and we just got lucky. The Rockets were missing a lot of open threes. They pretty much said anybody but KD can shoot, and we're gonna live with that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I know we're running with this new focused format, but I'm just gonna kind of tease some Epstein file stuff because did you guys see the fucking Lakers being predicted to win this year's championship in the Epstein files?
No.
This is not on the Epstein file.
No, come on now.
No,
Bro,
that's not- bro, that's not
files,
real.
bro.
That's not
Jeffrey
Stop it.
Epstein, hey, how are you? Where are you? And when are you coming back to New York? Here's the updated list of the NBA champions for the next 10 years. Please keep this
10
internal.
years.
This is from 2019, sent April 16, 2019. It's
Hey, it has been that,
NBA
though.
scripts. 2019 Toronto Raptors, 2020 LA Lakers, 2021 Milwaukee Bucks, 2022 Golden State Warriors, 2023 Denver Nuggets. For some reason, 24 and 25 are redacted.
Yeah, why is that redacted? That's
2026
weird.
is LA Lakers.
That's
Thank
I
you,
don't-
and I would
don't know,
appreciate
dude.
it if you could let me know the earliest available time to visit
Is that
for
in the
a
actual,
visit to paradise.
that-
Dog.
is that in the FBI released Epstein files, or is that
Yeah,
just-
it looks like. I mean, granted, there are a lot of like clickbait,
Yeah.
fucking headline stuff.
We
Yeah,
gotta
this
vet
is-
that. We gotta vet that source, bro.
This came out April 17th, so this is one of the most recent headline clickbait fucking articles that have been put out there
But-
that has to do with the Lakers. So that's why I
Mm.
mentioned. But you did say that, despite all the adversity, they're somehow winning. I just think that that's kind of sus. You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna go
Crazy,
past the
dude.
second round. Honestly, they
I-
might.
Hey,
They might
man.
win.
Bro,
Hey.
you gotta timestamp this, bro. Like, stamp this episode.
Hey,
So that way, whatever
I'll take it.
happens, we gotta run it back, bro.
Hey, yo, if they win, I have a future bet on them, so I'll give all of y'all $100 if they win.
Oh, timestamp.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
dead ass.
go.
If they win, I'm gonna win like 1,800. So
Dang, he's giving everybody in the chat $100. What he said.
not everybody in the chat, just y'all three. Just y'all three.
Nah, us three and Jeffrey, dog.
Nah.
Man, that's pretty wild. I wonder why those 2 years are redacted though. That's kind of strange.
Who won those 2 years?
It was 2024 was
Who was last year?
the- No,
Last year
2024
Celtics?
was- no, last year was Thunder. The year before was Celtics.
Oh yeah, Celtics Thunder.
So
I'd
24.
I'd redact those names too.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's what I'm just asking it. I just wanted to bring it up. So yeah.
No, I feel
NBA.
that. I feel that.
That's cool.
Uh,
Hey, I hope Jeffrey Epstein's right. Shit.
I know. I mean, as a fan, I am mad at it.
Yeah, it was from redacted, so I don't know who it was from, but it was
Oh.
to Jeff.
From redacted.
Yeah.
Stern was already passed, right?
Yeah, Stern was in the emails. So,
But yeah, R.I.P. I guess.
oh, is he dead?
Yeah,
Yeah, he died.
yeah. Like
Respectfully,
a year or two ago.
fucking Stern.
I'm still mad about Chris Paul not being a Laker. But let's keep the small talk up. We got any UFC MMA updates?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over some quick UFC updates. UFC 327 was the last big event. Joshua Van and Tatsuro Taira was supposed to co-main, but it was canceled for an undisclosed injury. It was really controversial because Joshua Van won the title from a dominating champion via injury. So people were already criticizing him for being a fake champ because he won the title through an injury, and then he was injured in his first title defense. And the injury was undisclosed, so I think that adds more fuel to the fire. But it's scheduled for the Strickland Chimaev UFC pay-per-view. That's in May 8th, the UFC 328.
On that fight.
It's Strickland versus Chimaev. That's the main event. I don't know, but dude, I hope Chimaev beats the shit out of Strickland. You know I don't like Strickland. No.
Yeah, I know, bro. I know.
But yeah, just to recap that event.
Though.
I caught the end of Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I saw the last prelim fight, which was Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull. Those two were two big names from Bellator. Bellator is gone now. UFC absorbed most of the Bellator fighters, so it's actually fucking crazy to see two big two big ticket names from Bellator fighting in the undercard of UFC. Sort of a flex, you know. But Patricio Pitbull was one of the dominating champions from Bellator. He got pieced up by Aaron Pico. It's fucking crazy. But Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr was the first fight of the main card. I actually attended a Cub Swanson class. He's fucking dope, but he retired that night. A lot of retirement lately. It's fucking making me feel old. Curtis Blaze versus Josh Hokett. I don't know if you guys know who Josh Hokett is. I think he was a football player. Dude's really decorated, but the main reason he's getting a lot of attention is because he's adopting this fucking like WWE character where he's playing like different characters based on different. He's saying like he has multiple personalities and different personalities are coming out depending on what like interview he's doing. So it's people thought it was kind of annoying, but he fucking put on a show. Some people are saying it's one of the best heavyweight fights ever in the UFC. So make sure you guys check it out when it's available. Curtis Blaze versus Josh Hokett. Paulo Costa went up to light heavyweight from middleweight. So that's 185 pounds to 205 pounds to fight Azimad Murzakhanov, big Russian dude who was undefeated 16-0. So I always say that I like MMA and boxing because it's one of the few sports where even if the odds are stacked against you and you feel like the league is trying to stack the odds against you, it's one of the few sports where you could be like, man, fuck that, I'm gonna train really hard, boom, knock him the fuck out, and you know, be like, fuck you guys, I'm the man now. And I feel like this is one of those fights. I felt like the UFC was trying to kind of punish Paulo Costa for moving up, so they gave him this undefeated Russian dude. But Paulo Costa knocked him out with a head kick. Dude, he fucking showed up that night, so it's pretty dope. I feel like he has a lot of leverage now. I feel like he's even championship challenger worthy now because main event was Jiri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg in that weight class, light heavyweight. Really, really controversial. Jiri Prochazka is a fan favorite fighter. He adopts like this samurai character, you know what I mean? Dude does some weird shit. Like the day of the fight, he'll be at the arena like 6 a.m. just standing in front of the arena, looking up at the arena like on some fucking samurai anime shit, dude.
Samurai Jack shit.
Yeah, bro. So he's a really weird guy. But he was champion at one point. And he got injured, so instead of holding up the division, he actually relinquished the title so he wouldn't hold up the division. So that's pretty dope of him to do. Yeah. But yeah, fan favorite against Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg's from a reputable gym. He's from the same gym as Alexander Volkanovski and Israel Adesanya. So championship gym. I think he tore his ACL in the first round. Like it was really fucking obvious he was fighting on one leg, you know. Jiri Prochazka felt bad. It was obvious Jiri was like, damn it, you know, I don't want to win like this. I don't know what happened, dude, but Ulberg hit him with a hook, knocked Jiri the fuck out. And then Jiri was really sad. Obviously, he's like, I had mercy in the fight, and I'll be back next time. You know, so it became this whole beef because Carlos Ulberg at the end of the fight, like most of the interviews that he's doing after the fight, is saying like, dude, like I don't believe that shit. I think he fucked up, and you know, fuck a rematch. You know, you gotta climb back up from the rankings to get that rematch. So. Interesting, because I think that sets up Paulo Costa for a title shot now. But the guy did get hurt, so people are saying that he should relinquish the title, which opens up another rematch, another fucking opportunity for Jiri to get the belt. It's a mess right now, but that's what's going on with the UFC. I mentioned retirement being something that's going around lately. The most recent UFC card after 327 was a fight night card, and Gilbert Burns, he's one of the known names in UFC. He got lit up and retired in Canada. So
Damn.
that's pretty much all in the UFC world right now that I can deliver. So yeah, that's it for UFC and MMA stuff for me.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Mel, you got anything?
No, nothing really exciting on my side of boxing anyway, or kickboxing anyway, that I've seen lately. I mean, the Ryan Garcia fight was pretty good, but other than that, I'm really just looking forward to the Juto Nakatani fight versus Inoue. That's gonna be a fucking fire ass fight because Inoue is a monster
Mm-hmm.
and Nakatani is just so long. I'm curious to see how Nakatani, how Inoue is gonna get inside. But like I said, other than that, I mean, they keep on teasing this Mayweather and Pacquiao fight and shit, and
Hey.
Mayweather and Tyson shit, like some satire ass fights, bro. Like, but
Yo.
yeah, I just think Mayweather wants to get back in there, but doesn't want to become like a Roy Jones Jr. Like when Roy Jones, he was knocking all those guys out. Then he retired and then came back. Then he was the one getting knocked out by everybody. So, and that would be crazy, because he's like one of the biggest fighters right now with the biggest, cleanest record,
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, no, just looking forward to the Noah Inoue fight.
Yeah, that's at I just looked it up, Tokyo Dome
Yeah,
on
in
May
May,
2nd.
right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up. Idrizi, I was looking up the cards for UFC. I see you mentioned the next one's 328. It says it's on Paramount Plus. So is that like? Because I remember back in the day, obviously, I've been out of the UFC game for a while in terms of like buying these fights. But back in the day, we used to do pay-per-view, and then they had like ESPN Plus, right?
Yeah.
And now it's Paramount Plus. So if you have Paramount Plus, you just stream it. Like it's just for free.
Yeah, so they got rid of the pay-per-view model. So it used to be you had to have an ESPN Plus account, and then you're able to access being able to buy pay-per-views from there. But now if you have a Paramount Plus, then you have all the events. So there's no more pay-per-view events.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's controversial because a lot of the fighters during negotiations for contracts, pay-per-view points is a factor.
Oh yeah.
So I know one of the more recent headlines that came out is I don't think UFC is providing lodging and traveling for teams and fighters anymore.
Damn.
I don't know if the pay is increased to be able to take care of all that, but still, you know what I mean? That's kind of fucked up.
Damn, Dana White's getting cheap on us, man.
Man.
That's crazy.
Is he
No, he's not.
That's
But Mayweather, on the other hand, he's a huge supporter, man.
Hey,
He's a supporter of the.
Does that change your views on Mayweather now, bro?
It does. It does.
hilarious.
We'll talk about that during the Mayweather Pacquiao deep dive if that ever happens. But
that will happen.
Change 180 changed.
So I'll be watching more UFC because I have Paramount Plus. I didn't realize it was just like I could put that program on and it's live. So that's dope. So I'll definitely be locked in going forward. Yeah, but that whole pay-per-view structure too. I know that affected WWE too when they were talking about going to like Peacock and like going away from the pay-per-view model. And that was one of the things was like, how do we factor viewership and like that kind of money that comes in from being able to purchase a pay-per-view as opposed to now it's like a subscription service. So like, where does that slice of the pie fall in for contracts? So it's not surprising that factored in the UFC, especially since they're both owned by the same company now.
Also, with fighters like Conor McGregor, where pay-per-view points matter because the sales that a Conor McGregor pay-per-view is going to be a fucking variable compared to anybody else's pay-per-view. You know what I mean? So for no pay-per-view points for a name like Conor McGregor, it gets tricky when it, talk about negotiating finances or cuts, So it's a weird time right now. I don't know. I think WWE is struggling with it more than the UFC is. If we're talking
probably.
about TKO, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rumblings about that, about the whole TKO over the weekend. Well, let's get into our main segment now. What is the hardest sport to become champion in? How would you guys define hardest, or how do we want to define it for this conversation?
Damn.
There's a lot of
It's a lot of factors, right?
a lot of factors. I would definitely put training in there.
Okay.
I would put maybe meal regimen. I don't know if that falls into training as well.
Yeah, I would factor that in. It's like prep.
Yeah. What else?
I think the pool size of the competition you're facing factors in.
Yeah,
that lowers the
competition.
odds. Which, I mean, that might sway me a little bit into one of these sports specifically.
Oh yeah, that's a huge variable in the conversation,
right?
Because
how many teams make it?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say sometimes the best don't even really fight the best because of brands. You know what I mean?
Politics and shit.
Pacquiao Mayweather, right? We talked about that last show.
Right. One factor for me, I think, and I think we all can agree, is discipline. Right.
Absolutely,
I think the diet and the training all falls under that umbrella of discipline. So,
would you guys consider the amount of money that's at stake?
Ooh, motivating factor?
Yeah,
like a motivation type thing.
Yeah, because people might not go as hard if you're only going to get like $200K on the line, but if you're getting, it all depends too, like what level we're talking about, right? Maybe $200K.
Money can come in. It could come in different factors and play in different ways as well.
True.
So that doesn't. Yeah.
I saw that from a different perspective. I actually saw that as a entryway. So like there are some sports where you actually need money in order to even have a chance to practice and get better at. You know what I mean? Like you like golf. Like you need golf clubs. You know what I mean? Like even football. You know what I mean? Like you need cleats and all that shit.
Money.
Where
boxing,
I know. I'm going to assume that Mel's going to argue some sort of combat sports because I'm going to argue some sort of combat sports as well. Those really don't have a price point entry. You know what I mean? Or an entry.
The cost is very low.
Right.
I mean, you have to pay for training.
Right.
Pay for training and then equipment.
Yeah. And how much is your time worth? Right. Like all the training that you have to put in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the most important currency we got, man. And then like with the team sports too, like with the pros, like the I like to call it, just to simplify it, like the luck factor, right? Like the ball bouncing a certain way, the puck, getting hit a certain way. Just for those two sports too, like there's less control, I feel like, in team sports than there is in like boxing or golf or MMA. I think there's a lot more variables in the team sports, and relying on someone else to help you achieve that goal, I think that factors into it too. But if you guys have like your top contenders of like the sports that you're thinking of right now on the top of your head.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Francis, what you got?
I'm struggling between golf and either MMA or boxing. I'm not really sure. At that point, I would say more MMA. So golf and MMA, even though they're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, I think they're top two hardest. I just can't really decide which one is harder than the other. But another random sport I was thinking about is water polo.
That shit's hard.
Tough.
Dude, motherfuckers are hitting each other, kicking each other in the balls while you have to swim and not fucking drown. It's kind of hard.
That goes back to the first question because define hard, because discipline is one, but also like, the physical demands of it. Like we're talking about water polo being hard, but motherfuckers are like beating each other up and going to the fight drained, you know what I mean? Because they're trying to make weight. So it's like you got to be tip top shape after that, you know what I'm saying, to be able to even compete, you know what I mean? So I think that's also a factor, you know, the physical demands on top of the luck, because I do think there's also a luck factor, even in MMA and boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You can get hit with a lucky punch.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean,
perfect land, right on the jaw.
Now, what do you think?
I think my top two would definitely be boxing and Muay Thai. Muay Thai keeps coming to mind. Only, I mean, I don't know for giving reasons, but I guess I'll give my reason. Only because I'll say Muay Thai over MMA is because forget his name. Damn, it's slipping my mind right now. But he gave the reason about, you know, boxing versus MMA. It's like if you get hit and you get knocked down in MMA, that's it. You know, boom, boom, they hit you 2 times, it's over. Boxing, you get hit, knocked down, you get 10 seconds to get up, whether you're concussed or not. It's the same thing with Muay Thai too. Only difference is you can elbows and knees now. You can clinch, you can grab, you can throw, you know, so those would definitely be my top two if I had to go with two.
My top contenders are more like honorable mentions. And I'm gonna go with fucking, we talked about luck and shit. Like, I think if you're gonna consider golf, then you got to consider like gambling and gaming too. You know what I mean? Like gaming, like that's up to the lag. You know what I'm saying? If I have you in my crosshairs and my shit fucking lags, it's like, oh damn it! You know what I'm saying?
All right, so we're doing esports too. Okay.
So those are just honorable mentions. I think also fucking like motocross and like extreme sports, like you know, skateboarding and shit. But
you're throwing some crazy ones out there.
I think pro wrestling is hard as fuck. You know what I mean? Because you're competing with the crowd.
I thought about this.
You're competing against the crowd. So let's say like Zack and I are wrestling against each other, and we like execute the plan perfectly, and Francis and Mel are like, what the fuck are these guys doing? You know what I mean? Then we have to improvise and try to get you guys, you know what I mean, back and interested, and engaged. So we're gonna probably pull something off script where it's like, oh, I know Mel likes this. Hey, everybody, you know what I mean? And then from there, we're just kind of improvising. So I think that aspect makes pro wrestling kind of a different sport. You know what I mean?
That one's tough too because
it makes it hard.
Because you're trying to convince someone else to agree to that as well. Like it's not like you could do all the best moves and do whatever flippy shit, athletic, get crowd pop, but like if one guy says nah, not yet, then it's not yet. So that's like a big variable there, is like you're relying on someone else to make that decision. And as far as a skill set you have to master, it's not just physical skill set. Like you have to be able to talk on the mic too, you know, like NBA, boxing, UFC is shifting towards that now, where like even if you don't know how to speak English, like you better know how to speak and talk shit in some sort of international language, because we have translators here that can translate bullshit now. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of have to sell yourself now, even in the UFC. So that skill set of being able to market yourself is crossing over to real combat sports and not just pro wrestling now, I think. Those are good points.
Things to consider.
Two that I wanted to consider are the ones that happen. I guess these are more like specific, but they happen like very infrequently as some others. Like becoming a World Cup champ or winning like Olympic gold. I think what's hard about those for me is like, because they compete all the time, like outside of the Olympics or outside of the World Cup. Like you get all the, you know, the soccer stuff, but like for the national teams and the national aspect of it, it's really like that's every 4 years, right? Or I guess Olympics every 2 years, because you do winter too. But like the infrequency part of that is a big factor, I think, too. So that's pretty tough. And like, not everybody can come back and do it every 4 years, because that's, father time beating you up for 4 years, and then you're 4 years older, and then you get younger kids that come up and compete too. So like for like gymnastics, right? Like to win gold in gymnastics, I feel like that's got to be incredibly tough. And that's like pretty intense training too.
Mm-hmm.
And like once you get to a certain age, like you just stop doing it. So like your window is incredibly short, and I think the maturity requirement for that too is a really big factor. But I mean, just kind of thinking about what we've all been talking about tonight. I mean, for me, like if I had to say, my top two, probably boxing and golf. I feel like arguably one of the hardest things to do in sports is to hit a golf ball straight, as often as the pros do it. Even them, like they shank. You'll see just guys that win the Masters and then you don't hear from them after that, because it's hard to repeat that success. And boxing, I think all things considered, boxing takes the most out of the body with the training and the endurance you have to have, even with the rules. And I think that's why they clinch so much too. Like that's always one of my theories on the clinching, is just because not just like you're trying to, get out of getting hit, but you're also fucking tired as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And the spotlights are all on you. You're in the ring. Like it's a lot. So, I think those are the two that I'm leaning towards. I used to always think that hitting a fastball was the hardest thing to do in sports, but learning more about other sports for the time I've been watching sports, which is like 30 years of my life, you get to see the different aspects of other sports and why they're so difficult and hard to master. So, and plus, like the fucking Dodgers make it so easy now to win at baseball, so you just got to repeat that shit. So it's not baseball for me. But yeah, if I had to pick between two, I feel like I would lean towards boxing.
Yeah, so what makes this conversation really interesting is the fact that golf is such a variable as well. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think it's funny you guys keep saying golf. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never golfed before, and golf just seems just so boring.
I agree, bro. Like at first, I had to be like, "What?" Like I thought it was blasphemous to even consider.
I'm like, no, bro.
Yeah, I used to do the same.
I don't argue against the fact that, to me, I think it exposes the fact that there is a luck factor when it comes to succeeding in sports. You know what I mean? Like, one thing I was really thinking about when I was thinking about this question is, man, in all sports, there can be an anomaly where the person who isn't the best becomes champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that that's always the argument about golf, is you can practice forever and then you show up and just things aren't going your way. You know what I mean? But you could say that about every sport, I think. You know what I mean?
I think
Steph Curry, things weren't going his way. You know what I mean?
But the one thing with golf, though, that why I'm just, for the sake of argument, I'm going to pick golf, just because, like, with every sport, you're competing against someone. You can study their film, you can know their weaknesses, you know their strengths, you can prepare. Like Mayweather was watching film on Pacquiao, Pacquiao's watching film on Mayweather, Lakers and Shaq, Kobe were watching film on fucking Sacramento Kings, and you can go with MMA, but you can't watch film. Like if you're a golfer, you're not going to watch film on another golfer, because you're not going.
You're not playing against the golfer.
Yeah, you're playing against yourself. So like
you're playing against the course.
Yeah, playing against the course, and if you don't study the course well enough, if you don't know the ins and outs of the course, if you haven't practiced thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times those specific swings, then when you start missing and shit, then you're all in your head. You can't hit someone and get your rhythm back. You can't, set a hard screen on someone to kind of amp you up, or you can't talk shit to golf. you can't really talk shit to people because it's a gentleman's game.
That'd be way more fun though.
And they argue that if you talk shit, then it might ruin your game even more because you know now you're throwing off your zen and now you're starting to get you're playing mad now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not a great golfer, but I've played golf and I've played frustrated, and I to their point, you just become worse. So you can't really you have to really stay in a clear mental state versus I feel like every sport besides golf, you can get in a little rage mode and get yourself in and fuck someone up or talk shit or something like that. You know what I mean?
Most sports, yeah. What about the and I don't know, for Muay Thai, there's still judges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's a big factor too. Is like we've seen a lot of fights over the years where you're just like, man, that was rigged, or
absolutely,
the judges weren't looking. Like that's a pretty big factor because then you got to you got to be stylistic.
It's not like it's points on a screen where they made 2 points. You could have a wonky judge in there that just put you down on a round where you were actually up and you lose. That happens a lot. It happened to Mayweather. It's happened to Winky Wright. It's happened to Shakur Stevenson. It's happened to Roy Jones Jr. It's happened to a lot of people. People seen it on live TV, and the whole crowd boos because they know that other person didn't fucking win. But Ryan Garcia and fucking Devin Haney. Crazy.
What one other thing I'll say about golf, and this is coming from a perspective where I respect the argument so much that I'm trying to argue it from a legit place. But I think, like I said, I'm going to stick to my position that golf exposes the fact that it's more of an inner game, and the fact that luck does factor in more so than it being the hardest game, because I would argue that even in fights, even in skating, even in basketball, it's a fight and a game within yourself as well before you even go out there and perform. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a mental game, and I think that it's kind of like chess, where people can argue that chess is the hardest, but there's a special element in chess that if you are able to recognize it, then it unlocks some sort of understanding with sports in general type shit. You know what I mean? If you're able to understand and get good at golf, then that understanding of the game will translate in other sports, because now you know how to be zen when you play, because you know that if I play good, then it'll affect the game or it'll affect the field. You know what I mean? If this is a variable playing with teams, it can affect my team chemistry with my other teammates. But if we're talking specifically with a individual sport, you know what I mean, then you see how far being zen can go as far as your performance go. And I feel like golf will teach that. You know what I mean? So go into our next talking point, things to consider. I'll just go ahead and jump and say this. Why I don't give golf the hardest sport to be champion in is, if in golf you don't become champion, the next year you practice and you arguably have an equal chance at it again. I mean, variables are your competition, you know what I mean? But you as an individual, I mean, golf really you don't really need to be in great shape to perform, you know what I mean? So ain't no fucking training camp. You got to perform. You just got to be there, and you got to keep practicing. In fucking MMA or boxing, trying again is easier said than done, because sometimes people get knocked the fuck out, and that takes years away from their lives. So that takes a huge chunk of their performance away onto their next fight or their next competition. You know what I mean? So the window that we're talking about to succeed, it accelerates the closing of it, because depending on what the damage is that you know what I mean,
Yeah,
that happens within the
you're
fight.
back in losing. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
losing
very
factor
variable to
of
that.
whatever sport it is. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
That makes
Right.
Yeah,
sense. That makes sense.
the get back is tougher in combat sports
Yeah,
than anything else.
Right.
that makes
Right,
sense.
Because it's kind of like a car, you know what I mean? Like once it's damaged, you know what I mean? Like it's the wear and tear will show. Whereas in golf, it's like just don't fucking have high cholesterol, you know what I'm saying? Like, or don't get drunk. Shit,
that.
fucking I
Although
see
there's-
Tiger Woods be going crazy these days.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more
Tiger.
fit golfers these days than in the
Tiger
past.
Woods.
I will say that. Tiger Woods.
That's true, though. I mean, to your point, Jereezy, like to argue. I mean, I'm kind of going back against my choice, but the Masters is always going to be at the same course, no matter what. So if you lose, you can study it, and you can have a chance again. Versus combat sports, if you want to get back to that champion, you're going to face a different fighter almost every time.
Mhm.
So yeah, I see.
Probably
what
a
you're
younger
saying.
fighter,
there's
too.
that too, yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
that's true. So what is that? The elimination factor, I guess.
Mhm.
We'll make that the elimination of, like you said, the windows closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got shorter windows in combat sports.
The combat.
It's very variable because I mean, look at Mayweather. He's booking a Tyson and a Pacquiao fight. Like, dude, those two don't fight. Like, you know what I mean? They don't hug and like touch
Yeah.
fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he still fighting Tyson?
I don't know, man. I don't think so.
As far as
I don't
I'm
know.
concerned, he's still fighting both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happening right now.
That zero in his record is very important, though.
Yeah.
See,
So
so that's the
I
thing.
get the apprehension.
He has a specific style that will, you know what I mean, will make him last longer in the fight game, which is very rare. You know what I mean? Opposed to, I mean, look at Timothy Bradley. That guy fucking slugs it out. He didn't really last that long either, you know? So,
And also too, like another thing and factor that just came to mind is like throughout the histories of basketball, you know, it's generally been the same, you know, same ball, same court, same amount of quarters and stuff like that. But with boxing, it's dwindled down because of injuries. There used to be way more rounds than 12. There used to be 15 and 30 rounds but they cut them down because obviously people were getting hurt and killed in the ring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also people used to take more fights. People used to take fights every week.
Yeah.
People there's pros with hundreds of fights. Now you're lucky if you get to 50, you know, because that's another factor too, you know. So
I feel like
think
Tyson was
that-
fighting like every other month or something when we were kids.
Yeah, they were
Or, like,
fighting
every
a
quarter?
lot back then, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what? They fight every 2 years, twice a year, or some
Yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Once in January.
I know in
once
UFC,
in November.
I feel like in UFC it's the same too. Like they cut that down. Like they used to fight more frequently.
Yep. I mean, granted, you get paid more the higher you're up, but
Oh
yeah.
if you're one of those mid-tier just coming in guys trying to get fights, it's a little hard, and you got to keep a O record to even get noticed. You know what I mean? And you know, get the right fights, and it's a
A lot of it too is like you want to come off as the company guy that's like, oh yeah, I'm always down to fight, you know?
Yeah,
fighting
yeah,
champion.
Yeah, because sometimes that'll get you some favors in return later on, you know, whether it's a title shot or you get moved up to a high marquee fight.
Yeah. So I think we're all leaning towards a combat sport, but maybe let's argue out of all the combat sports, which one?
I'm gonna say MMA, man, because I think it's everything, and that can really overwhelm anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like it's really impressive that like a Khabib can be undefeated. You know what I mean? Because again, it goes back to the head game, like golf, like to be able to play your style, which is wrestling, and ignore the crowd booing and oh, you're a pussy, you're a fucking pussy when he's fucking the champion, undefeated in MMA. You know what I'm saying?
It was like Mayweather with boxing.
I think being able to ignore all that and stay with the script and stay with the game plan, all that together combined, I think is will overload a lot of people. And that's not even taking into consideration all the weight cutting, you know what I mean? And having to train and sharpen each of those skills so that you're not shocked or overwhelmed when those skill sets show up in your opponents at the night of the fight, you know what I mean? So that comes to like, you need to go to a boxing coach. Oh, now you need to go to a Muay Thai coach. Oh, now you need to go to a jiu-jitsu coach. Now you need to work on your wrestling. And then if you have an MMA coach, you're working with an MMA coach to put it all together. You know what I'm saying? So I think it overloads the body and it overloads the mind. And the trade-off of that, of getting fucking head kicked or choked in front of everybody. I don't know if you guys have seen like people shitting their pants after they've gotten choked. Dude, like it gets really embarrassing and nobody wants to be fucking on anybody's highlight reel, you know what I mean? So the trade-off of that overload of mental overload and physical overload is really like high stakes. So that's where my argument of MMA being the hardest sport is, I think.
I think my top reason I wouldn't put boxing is the simple fact that in order to become the champion, in order to become the champion and stay the champion, you have to pay for your belt. Like, I think that's one of the few combat sports that you actually have to do that. That's the reason why. So, okay, WBO, for instance, when you get, let's say, Crawford, when he got his belt, you have to pay a percentage. If you don't pay that percentage, you don't get to keep the belt.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So
it's like a membership?
Yeah, exactly. So Chris Stevenson got stripped. Tank got stripped. Crawford got stripped, all because they didn't want to pay sanctioning fees. Which is fair because, again, they beat their body up. They're the ones in there fighting, get knocked in the head, and they win. But now somebody wants 30%, 20% of what they want. You know what I mean? It's a belt. Like, why do I have to pay for something that I want to represent y'all? I'm representing y'all already. You know what I mean? And now I got to pay you too.
Damn.
You know, so I guess that would be my top argument for why boxing would be the hardest to become champion. Because, you know, if you're not willing to pay that, technically you're not champion. Even though you did beat that guy, you are the best. You know, people might say, yeah, he is the best, but he isn't champion. You know,
that's crazy.
Boxing's so fucking dirty, dude.
Yo, Joreeezy, you gotta do some research on who owns the WBO and.
We already know.
At this point, bro,
we can all take a guess.
Probably some Steen or some Berg.
So both of those, both MMA and boxing, have separate weight classes and all that. But just reading up on it, there's a big argument for boxing is that there's a deeper talent pool. And one of the things for MMA that I saw was, or one of the ways that it was put was, in boxing you have to, like, your hands have to be great. Like, you have to master, like, your hand game. And in MMA, you can kind of be good at a bunch of different things and be successful. Whereas, like, boxing, it feels like you just you have to really focus on your hands. Obviously, the endurance goes for both and everything. But would you agree that there's a deeper talent pool in boxing, and that being harder to master one thing as opposed to being good at a bunch of things could be considered harder?
I think, yeah, because I'm more afraid of the man that practiced one punch 10,000 times than the man that knows 10,000 punches. You know, so if you're okay at all of those things and I master, you know, something, then there's a better chance that I'm going to have the upper hand. We've seen it in Sean O'Malley. For the longest time, he was ripping guys with just striking. Then, of course, you know, it did happen where somebody found a counter to how he fought. But that guy, he was mainly a wrestler. He wasn't a striker. So again, that even strengthens the argument even more. Yeah, being very keen at one thing, I would say, is harder because there's a lot of guys in MMA that are okay at striking but great at wrestling, or worse at wrestling but great at striking, or judo, whatever. It's I don't think anybody's great at all around. I think you did master something and then you moved on a little and said, okay, let me try this, and then mix my martial arts.
Yeah. Interesting.
Damn, honestly, that's a great point. And again, like I said, all the sports that we talk about, luck is a factor. And yeah, if the wrestler is really fucking great and he gets fucking socked by a boxer on some luck shit and he wasn't the best, then, if the argument is the hardest sport to be a champion in, then I feel like boxing really might be, because the skill level is, we're competing with hands only. You know what I mean? So, you know what you're competing, and you really get the champion is clear, opposed to like you don't know what you're gonna get, because like I could be practicing my hands the whole time, and the other person is like, I'm just gonna kick this fucker's leg. You know what I mean? Then it's like I don't really get to see all the skill set, because it's like a rock paper scissors game where like one style can dominate the rest of the styles. You know what I mean?
True.
Which means that if you're watching tape, which everyone's watching tape, then it's like, oh, this guy's a boxer, then just counter that with a different style. Oh, this guy's opposed to if you're watching tape on the boxer and it's like, damn, I have to counter that with another counter as far as a boxing skill set goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very specific.
So it's more like, I guess I'll make this crazy comparison or metaphor. It's MMA is more like Pokemon battles with free range anybody, so you can counter like a water Pokemon with a grass type. But boxing is more like Pokemon battle, but just electric types. So it's like more of a skill. You know what I mean?
Dog, no bullshit. When I was thinking about MMA, I was thinking about like when we're talking about like someone's good at wrestling, someone's good at striking, someone's good at grappling. It was like, that's like Pokemon.
It is like Pokemon.
It's like the elements.
That's
hilarious.
That's the inspiration behind Hitmonlee and Hitmon. No, I'm just kidding.
My champ.
My joke.
That's hilarious. Dog, that's so funny. I'm glad you brought it up, because I was gonna bring it up. I felt like I was sound like a dork. But that's literally what
I'll sound like a dork for you, dog.
I was looking out. So we're gonna go boxing. We agree?
Yeah, take it, man. Definitely.
Yeah, because also with Muay Thai, you can get away with some shit too. Like with the clinch, if a wrestler goes in there and just like bully someone in the clinch, then we didn't really get to see your skill set play out to see who the real champion is. So it'd be harder to be a champion if all your skill sets are being tested. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I'd have to go with boxing as far as a combat sport go.
Man.
I think boxing wins.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I'm not mad at it. There's a lot of good arguments for a bunch of different sports. A lot of things to consider too.
Then I said honorable mention though. E-games.
Yeah, man.
Fortnite,
dude. Have it.
Call of Duty.
And plus, like everyone in their just keep this in mind. At the championship of Fortnite or whatever, where like it's high stakes. Yeah. First of all, that's happening with a bunch of people watching you, and what do you think they're doing? Recording shit. You don't think that's affecting the bandwidth and the Wi-Fi, dog? You don't think that affects like my movement and my fucking crosshairs, dude, and my jumping and shit? Like that, yeah. I think that actually affects performance, more so than like nerves do. Even though nerves actually do affect. I feel like people would take that more seriously and think it's a more of an observative effect than like the observer effect. You know what I mean?
And I know too, like, just a good argument for esports is how much more easily accessible it is. I mean, like you can go to a gym and train and do all that, but like you got to make the effort to go do it. Like kids just pop the game in at their house and just sit on their couch and play. And, like,
some shit. Yeah.
It's accessible, right? So there's like the talent pool is everybody.
That's
unlimited. Yeah,
yeah.
Anybody can just keep going at any time. Like,
hey, just give me a fucking summer, right? And it's like
for real.
You playing for 20 or not 20, I would say maybe some kids playing for 20.
That's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy theory because different areas have different bandwidth, have better Wi-Fi coverage. So they might be grooming a certain area of kids to be esports stars.
I did kind of want to tie. I had this thought left me earlier. I couldn't get back to it. I wanted to keep it moving, but talking about like being champion, and I think Francis, you brought up like being a dynasty with like the Warriors talk Joreeezy that you brought up, but like as I've gotten older and seeing like dynasties happen, like it always feels like it's hard to appreciate it when it's happening because it's like, fuck, I want them to lose, but then you look back on it and it's like, that was fucking impressive. And so like seeing, in line here with the championship conversation, like I think that's what like is really impressive about those who win it multiple times to create those dynasties in all sports. It's like I feel like we need to appreciate it more when it's happening. Because like that Golden State one, I hated it, but like when we're talking about them breaking up, it's like, damn. Like now I look back on that differently because it's done, But it just appreciates the journey and like how hard it is to accomplish these things in all these sports.
Like I mentioned earlier, I felt like all sports have that luck factor. So like a jabroni can be the champion out of nowhere. You know what I mean? On some bullshit.
But if
you have a dynasty though, then that's like proven. You know what I mean? Like nah, it wasn't a fluke. Like I really ran that shit on.
That kind of like makes me think of something too. Like when you win a belt in boxing, you have to defend that motherfucker. Like you know what I mean? Like
you are the dynasty.
That bitch. Yeah, and if you don't defend it, you get stripped.
Yeah.
So
there's like mandatory defenses in boxing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
you become a champion in football, boom, you got it. You take the trophy home. You're the champion for 2024. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah. All right.
And it's theoretically like everyone's coming after the champ, but it's not because the title's up for grabs. Whereas like, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little different too. That's good. I like that. All right. We got any final thoughts in the sports world?
Man.
I think those were the final thoughts.
Yeah.
Hey, perfect, right? This is seamless.
Right.
Yo, Lakers in the Epstein files, bro. Who would have thought?
Hey, I got you. I got y'all if they fucking win.
Hey, $100 is $100.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, hands like Birdman.
Bro.
Please. That's funny. Joreeezy, got any plugs?
Saturdays going into Sundays, midnight. I'm live on Twitch. Joreeezy, Joreeezy. Watch me, motherfuckers.
Saturdays going into Sundays?
Yeah.
So like you start at like 11:55 p.m. and type shit.
I'm Filipino, so I kind of start at like 12:15ish, 12:20ish. Yeah.
CPT.
I try Sundays, starting your Sundays and keeping it in Sunday.
Yeah. Last one on Saturday, first one on Sunday.
There you go. First one in, last one out. Company man, Joreeezy.
Yeah,
man. Mel, you got any plugs?
Nah, you already know. Just follow me on Only One Mel Man on everything, y'all. That's it.
Francis, what you got?
Just follow K4V3, baby.
K4V3 all day. That's all I got too. Nothing to plug. Appreciate y'all hanging out, chatting some sports on the Cave podcast. Reminder, follow us on all the socials at K4V3. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
V3.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.